Hey, welcome to our podcast, Figuring It Out Together.
We're a group of young women here to give us and other young people a voice.
So let's get real and talk about issues like mental health, body image, relationships, and life experiences.
To talk and advocate on issues that not only affect us now, but in the future. Hey, welcome to Figuring It Out Together. I'm Leanne, and in today's episode, we will be talking about friendships. Joining me, we have Anna, Sienna, and Abia. To start us off, we would like to state that we're all different and we all have different perspectives. All of us are female, so we'll be coming from female perspectives. So, Anna, would you like to start us off by saying, what does a good friendship look like to you? And what examples of good friendships do you have in your life?
Thanks, Leanne. A good friendship in my eyes that it has taken me a while to see is a friendship where you're supporting each other and you're always like caring and you don't have any of this toxicity where you're like, oh, are they judging me? What's happening? Like overthinking it. So I can give you an example. Like I've just now found a great group of friends that I'm just like really happy. Like in the moment, I'll stop and be like, I'm so thankful for this friendship. Like they've really just made my day even better because I haven't had to stress. They've made me feel amazing. Like for my birthday, they came, they got me ready. We had a great time. I wasn't stressed at the dinner. They just made everything better. And I was so thankful for that. So like when you have those epiphanies where you're just like, wow, I'm in a good like state of mind. They care about me. I care about them. It's just the happiness that they bring to you. Sienna?
Yeah, I completely agree, especially when you say like a good friendship is when you can support each other. I think that's really important because like I think in a friendship there shouldn't be any competition. Like it shouldn't be like you're worried about what they will think or you should be doing this because they are. I think a really good friendship is just about, being completely equal and just being friends because you want to be their friend and not for anything else.
Yeah, adding on to that, I would say that a good friendship is where you not only feel like comfortable with them, but you also feel comfortable with yourself. So like, you don't like have any pressure that you need to act like a certain way or you have to like behave like this around them. Like you can just be yourself and that's fine with them and that's fine with you. Just having like that sort of comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly, Abia. That like self-confidence and self-love in yourself that comes before needing to lean on someone else.
That's very true, yeah. I think we're all hearing a lot of supportive behavior and positive behavior. And I think that is an important quality in friendships, isn't it? To have a group of people that are being beneficial to your well-being rather than detrimental. And that really does affect not only your own mental well-being, but also your attitude towards life.
Well, it gets to a point in friendships where you might look at yourself and be like, wow, I really just changed my whole personality and my whole way of looking out in life just for this one person who's not even giving me the care and like attention that I'm trying to give them. So this has completely ruined my mental health. I'm just now like I'm left by myself. In the end, you're basically just stuck there by yourself. You have no one. But when you make those friendships that are there to care for you and your mental health is like excelling because of it, then you not only have yourself, but other people around you.
I agree completely. I think with friendships, like when you know that it's not right is when you're starting to make sacrifices where your own mental health is like being negatively affected. And that's when you know that it's not a friendship because I think a good friendship is when you can completely be yourself, feel 100% comfortable, and you're with that person to have fun, not to constantly be worried and stressed and like, yeah.
Just curious, I'm not sure if all of us do have, but I know I personally have friends that are male and friends that are female. I'm wondering whether your relationships or your friendships with them differ, and in what way. Sienna or Anna, do you know, or do you feel that there is a difference between male friendships and female friendships?
Yeah, I personally do. Like with my male friendships, I have more banter with them. There's more back and forth. There's like if you see it, it seems like there's like less feelings. It's like the stuff we say to each other. But like with my female friendships, it's not that like harsh at each other. Yeah. She's like, yeah, they're just being like mean and it's just not who they are. But like with male friendships, you go back and forth. There's like as if there's no feelings. You're all just good at the end of the day.
And isn't
But,
that
like,
the
with-
irony? Like with male friendships, you're more playful and it looks like you're fighting, but you're really not. Whereas with girls, we're really nice towards each other, but even when we're nice, we're fighting. Like there's such an ironic
Yeah.
behavior in that.
They'll be like, they're not actually being nice. They're just conniving. They're just not even, it's all fake. When you're actually trying to be nice.
Yeah, I think, see, I'm a little bit different. I don't know, because I feel like even with my girlfriends, like we do, like we like fake fight or like, like we just have that banter and just that like joking nature. But, and with my guy friends as well. And because I have a lot of guy and girlfriends that like we're in the same group, so we're all kind of friends. I don't think that the dynamic is that different. Like, because we're all kind of friends the same. Like I have like my best friend, but it's all like, I don't know. I like there's obviously differences, but I think when you're in a group, it's kind of about being all together. Whereas like if I have a girlfriend that's like it's just us and we're not like there's not all these other people involved, it's different to if I have a guy friend that is the same, like no other people involved. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it does depend on how close you are to the person.
Yeah,
Because like my closest friends, they'll know I just get really excited, so I start yelling. Like we'll be in class and they're not understanding what I'm telling them. This is why I could never be a teacher. I have no patience. But like I'll start like yelling, like, why aren't you getting this? And other people will be like, calm down. She's asking you for help. But that's just me getting really excited because like I know it and I'm trying to teach him. So like it's seen on the outside, like, oh my gosh, this person's crazy and they're just yelling at their friend. But really it's just like care and love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think that comes back to like how you said that with your like male friends you're like more playful, it's like more chill, but then with female friends it's kind of like a bit different. For someone else it might be the complete opposite. And I think it's like important to realize that everyone is different and they have like their own perceptions or like perspectives.
Yeah.
Just a follow-up question. Do you think that you have to put more effort into male friendships than female friendships or vice versa? Like, for example, I know that even though I love both sides equally, but I do know that I have to put more effort into maintaining a friendship with a girlfriend rather than a friend who's a male. Because I could go for days without talking to that person, but I still text them like we've been talking for like the past week. Whereas with girls, I feel like I need to maintain like a constant either texting or talking to them physically. I need to maintain that in order to have like a strong working relationship. What do you guys think?
I think I don't know, I think that like it doesn't really matter whether it's a girl or a guy for me in my experience, because I think like I have some girlfriends where like my best friend in the whole world, we can go like 2 weeks without talking and then we can just pick up exactly where we left off. And like the fact that she's a girl doesn't have anything to do with that. Then there's like other some other girls where it's like I have to talk to her every day and like just to maintain that friendship. But I don't think it has anything to do with like a girl or a guy, because it goes both ways and it's just about the person.
I agree with Sienna with like it doesn't matter if it's a girl or a guy, because that has happened to me. But me personally as an individual, I'm the type to like I don't use any of my like socials on a daily basis to talk to people because I just can't be bothered. But when I see them, I'll go up to them as if like with so much confidence, as if we've been talking for like the past 8 days nonstop. And I think that gives my friends the confidence to know that the friendship like is still there. So then they won't act hesitant or anything. And so I realize that because if I just walk up to people I haven't spoken to some time, they'll just stand there a bit closed off, a bit shy until I open up to them, or it just takes time. So I think it depends on how you like approach the situation.
Yeah, because I also think you shouldn't have to like talk to someone every single day for it to be valid that you're friends. Like, that's not
Yeah.
what a friendship is about. Like, yeah, I don't know.
And if they put such an expectation on you, is it almost as if they're asking too much of you?
Yeah, because then you can feel a bit pressured as well. Like, I value out, like, for an example, like I can value our friendship, but that doesn't mean that, every day, if I have to feel like I have to talk to you, then it's not going to be the same. Like, you should really just value the moments that you're together and not have to feel so pressured all the time.
Yeah, that friendship changes when it becomes less of something that you want to do and more of a chore, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think what Sienna said before, like how you could not talk to someone for like 2 weeks and then just start talking again randomly and just like pick up where you left off and there's like no tension, it's not awkward, it's just comfortable. I feel like that's a quality of like what makes a good friend. That's like a sign of a proper and like a good, healthy relationship.
Yeah, the fact that you
Yeah.
don't need to constantly talk to them just proves that your bond's stronger than having to constantly validate that. Now that we've seen and we've described what a good friendship looks like, to switch to the other side, what would be, I guess, considered a toxic friendship or something that's really bad for your mental health or well-being? Abia, would you like to start us off?
Um, Maybe when you talk to someone and like what you said earlier, it just kind of feels like a chore than something which you want to do. That's automatically a sign. That's just like, your mind or your heart telling you that, something isn't right. Or like if someone else isn't giving you the same energy that you're giving them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like even I've had personal experiences where I've been at a stage in my life where I've loved hanging out with them and I've always looked forward to it. And then at some point, it changed from being something that I look forward to something that I was dreading, especially like if I was at school going to recess or lunch to see them. I was kind of dreading going to see them. And it was really bad because it wasn't really enjoyable for me. And there wasn't that reciprocation of um, valid love or friendship there.
Yeah, and when you're stuck in those sort of relationships, like friendships, you sit there thinking, how do I get out of this? But at the same time, you're like, well, what happens once I do get out of it? Where can I go? Like, what other friends can I go? This might be one person out of your whole friendship group. And you may feel like, because this happened to me, and I feel like, oh my gosh, if I say, oh, I have a problem with this one girl in my big friendship group, everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, why? Tell us, tell us. And then it's going to become a whole thing of like some people on their side and the other side, and they're going to be like, tell me your emotions, tell me what's this, tell me that, and you're just creating something big that you don't want to, so you stick it out, but that's also ruining like yourself throughout the
Exactly.
process.
And I think that's something that I've seen that's common with friends between girls. We kind of put our own well-being before others. And at sometimes it can be selflessness, but in other times it's almost detrimental to our own well-being because we're not taking care of ourselves and we're just looking to take the easy road out.
Yeah, and I think there's a point where, because not every friendship is going to be 100% like great all of the time. Like there's obviously going to be points where, you'll have your differences. But when it gets to the point where you are scared to even bring it up because you don't have like the energy or the mental strength to have that fight again, and when like you said, like you're dreading seeing that person because you don't know how it's going to affect you mentally, that's when like it's not about saving the friendship anymore. Like the friendship is gone. You just need to choose to work on yourself, and that can be really, really scary, even just like realizing that and coming to terms with it when a friendship is doing you more harm than it was good.
Yeah, and when you're like in school, it's a place where you're stuck together for however long you're there, so there's kind of way no escaping it unless that person moves or moves on themselves. So you feel like, I'm just going to stick it out to like uni, then I won't ever have to see them again. But that's just, you're going to look back onto your uni and you'll be like, wow, I wasted like 4 years of my life because I was too scared to just get out of it.
Yeah, there's so much fear with like not working relationship or friendships. Like you get scared to want to have new friends, and that in itself should be reason enough to like let yourself outgrow the friendship.
Yeah, and
And playing
unfortunately, it that sort of fear kind of leads to um, piling up grudges against them, or just ignoring problems and letting them all sort itself into one huge big deal that eventually comes out, and it like ruins your friendship for life. And
and
I've
then
never really understood that. I don't understand why we don't just bring it up when we see it, rather than letting it all pile up together and then at the end just having this huge lash out at each other, and then it ends.
that's what I was like, that's playing on like that fear you have there. It may look like, oh, girls just overcomplicate things, girls just keep it in, but it's just the fear. They're scared to do it in the moment, and then something big happens, and then you're made out to look like the bad guy in the whole situation. But it's just all that fear that's piled up, and then it just bursts.
Exactly. And in these situations, fear is such a big factor. So I'm just wondering, what are we so scared of? Like, why are we not bringing this up sooner and letting it just sit there? Anna, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I feel like we're scared of what others will think of us. We're scared of like what they'll see when they look through and they go, "Oh, she's just making a big issue," or she's like that. But really, you're just scared of what people the judging. That's like you're scared you're going to be judged about having an emotion or a feeling and like for yourself. I
You're
don't know how to
totally right.
rephrase.
Yeah, because a big part of friendships between girls is a lot of the time we judge each other, and we're really passive aggressive about it too. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's subconscious or if they're intentionally doing it, but it ends up being a big thing where like we're passive aggressive saying, "Oh, that's an interesting choice of shoes," or like, yeah, just like these snarky remarks that come out as nice, but you know that there is a mean intention to it. And I think that's the thing that we just don't want to hear, and that's what we're afraid of hearing.
But then is that like the difference between fear, like passive aggressive, or like someone's insecurities showing?
Yeah. A lot of the time I think we uh, we lash out at other people, or we judge other people based on our insecurities. And I think it could be because we just want to say something about somebody else before somebody says something about us.
Yes.
And that really, I think that scares us a bit because we don't want to be judged, so we judge others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like let's say you bring up this issue like with the friend and you just want to like try talking it out, and then the other person takes it in like a completely different way. You know, that could be like one of the reasons why we actually scared. Like what if it just goes in the completely opposite direction? You know, your friendship just completely collapses instead of trying to, you know, work it together and like build it.
Yeah, and I also think there's a lot of fear of change when it comes, especially with friendships, because I think like, and in some ways, like, you know, a lot of people say like a friendship breakup is worse than like a romantic breakup because
Yeah.
it's just like, this is someone that, you know, you've obviously grown so close with, you have so many memories with, and it's just a fear of like, you know that this is toxic, or, you know, this isn't good for either of you. It's just now about like trying to, you know, find yourself again without having that person, you know, in your life, especially if it's like a best friend, which is why I think, you know, people are so scared. Like, it's just like, where am I going to go from this? Like, I know it's not good, but, you know, what if the next thing is worse? Or what if I don't find anything as good as what it was when it was good? That was a lot of good, but you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, I agree with you, Anna. There's like, not Anna, Sienna. um, we have these friends for like over 3-4 years, and for the majority of us, we have them throughout high school. So we're so used to them, and we're not used to like, we're really used to them, and we're like, we love that regularity. And then when we realize that we need to like get out of this habit and get out of this loop, it's really taunting.
Yeah, because we get comfortable.
Yeah.
But I also think like it's important to understand that you can outgrow a friendship even if nothing is wrong. Like nothing has to happen. You don't have to feel like, not, it doesn't have to be toxic for you to want to outgrow a friendship, because it happens. Like, you grow up, so do they. Like, and we're all still teens, like we're all still in high school. Like, it's going to be so different even 10 years from now, like, or as it already is changing. But I think like people need to understand that it's okay to outgrow someone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
not.
take different
Anna?
you take different parts in life. It's never going to be the same. And you honestly just have to focus on yourself. Where are you taking yourself? How are you going to get self-love and your confidence before thinking about others?
Yeah, you can't expect to have like best friends since primary school all the way to year 12. Especially like, of course, there may be the few lucky ones who are able to have such an amazing relationship and friendship with a person all the way up to year 12. But for the majority, that's not the case. And I think that's a bit of a harsh expectation to put on everybody, to have to maintain a friendship even if it's bad for you, just for the sake of like comfortability or regularity.
Or even like time. Like, just because you've known them for that long doesn't mean that you have to stick it out. Like, you'll meet someone and be better friends with that person in a month than someone you've known for years. Like, it's not about that.
Exactly. So just to finish off, I'm just wondering, what are some tips that we may be able to give to our audience on how to have a positive friendship or how to maintain a positive friendship? I know a tip that I normally use is I always reflect on my friendships, and I make sure that every now and then I'm checking in on myself first and seeing if I'm still happy with this relationship and I'm in a good mental well-being. What about you guys?
When the first thing is you're looking at yourself, you say, is this friendship worth my time? Is it worth me as a person? Am I ruining myself just to be friends with someone who isn't giving me that same love and care that I'm giving them? Is that what's happening here? Because if that is what's happening, then you know that it's not a good friendship, and it's just ruining. It's like, it's a waste of time for you and maybe for the other person, and they don't see it, and you can find a much better positive relationship.
On the topic of self-assessing, I think it's also important to remember that we also need to like make sure that we're not being the oppressor, and we're not bullying anybody or making anybody else feel less than they are, because sometimes we may do that unintentionally, and we may hurt somebody without even noticing. So I do think it is important to make sure that we're not only are we checking if we're in a good friendship, but also if we're being good friends.
Yeah, I think communication and understanding is key. Like, let's say, just for example, your friend is just being like a bit distant, so you shouldn't just like automatically assume that they have a problem with you, or they just don't want to be friends with you anymore. They could be having like some other issues or like personal issues. So I think that it's not fair. Like, we shouldn't just judge someone or something just from the surface.
No, I agree. And I think like another thing that you should always do is like recognize whether being with that person is like still making you happy, because that's what friends are for. Like, you're friends with someone to have a good time, have fun, and like, make memories, have laughs and stuff like that. So if that's not what, is still going on, then it's wrong. And I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah.
Yeah, don't change yourself for other people.
Yes, exactly.
They should like you for who you are. And if they don't like you for who you are, then that's their luck. Like, they've lost that. And you'll obviously find someone who does appreciate for who you are.
Great tips from some great people. I think that's a good place to end off. Once again, thank you for listening to Figuring It Out Together, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening. Hope we inspired you. Can't wait for the next one. This podcast is proudly supported by
Baseline for Young People and the City of Whittlesea.